Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alfriti and Today FM rocks here in Tavua.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilay Tiambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
In the news tonight, NFP promises housing, increased welfare and low cost of living. FijiFirst leader warns against social media lies. And stop rubbishing Rumbuka, says Sodelpa president.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
Promises by political parties are slowly flowing in, with the National Federation Party being the latest, launching its manifesto in Vunimono Nausori last night. Party leader Professor Biman Prasad remains with the stance of offering a $5 minimum wage and spending $200 million per year on housing. Prasad says this is the liberty and change Fijians need. Anna Ravulo reports.
With the launch of the National Federation Party's manifesto, Prasad says they're addressing Fiji's greatest concern,
which is the exorbitantly high cost of living. And let me announce the 15 basic food items. And these are as follows: rice, flour, cooking oil, tin fish, tea, powdered milk and liquid milk, butter, noodles, potatoes, onion, garlic, canned tuna, locally produced eggs, bread, and locally produced frozen chicken.
The NFP has added 8 more items to their VAT-free list, and there is good news for pensioners as well.
Social welfare allowances for the ages will be increased as follows. Those between 60 to 65 years, $100 per month. Those between 65 to 70 years, $200 per month. Those over 70 years, $300 per month.
Party President Pio Tikundondua says their manifesto is family-friendly.
This is the chance for your children. Everything you will find in this book that I'm holding is about the family. The family of yours and the family of Fiji, by under the leadership of Family NFP.
The party will continue with existing National Topper Scholarship but will rename it the Academic Excellence Scholarship. The party leader says all first-year course fees for any degree program will be paid by their government. When asked by FBC News on how they plan to pay all their promises if they form the government, the NFP leader says he will not comment. Anna Ravulo, FBC News.
It's believed the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption searched the National Federation Party's headquarters in Suva this morning. FBC News spoke to a party representative who confirms investigators from FICAC visited their office in search for information relating to certain election candidates. NFP says they cooperated with the investigators and gave them what they were looking for. A Facebook post on the NFP official page has revealed that FICAC was inquiring information regarding Charanjit Singh's party membership. FBC News contacted Charanjit Singh, who denied a raid was conducted. FICAC is not divulging any information at this time. The Fiji Roads Authority says 11 campaign billboards have been placed on road reserves. Chief Executive Jonathan Moore confirmed 7 billboards are in the Central Division, while 4 are in the Northern Division. Moore confirms they have written to the Fijian Elections Office and have not received any instructions as of this morning to remove the billboards. Meanwhile, Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says they have been alerted by FRA in relation to the issue.
We had a discussion with the electoral office and certain locations were agreed. And if billboards are in those locations in the highway, that's fine. If they're not in those locations, then we report it to the electoral office.
Over 60,000 voters will cast their vote in 582 venues when pre-polling begins on Monday. Pre-poll voters include Fijians living in rural areas that are hard to reach, residents of nursing homes, members of the disciplined forces, and those under pre-trial detention. Electoral Commission Chair Suresh Chandra says the pre-poll venue with most number of voters is at the RFMF Queen Elizabeth Barracks, where 1,438 voters will cast their vote at 3 stations. Chandra says all the areas that are included in the pre-polling period have been made aware that voting begins next week. The pre-polling period will end on Friday.
At this point, may I mention that all the areas that are under pre-poll have been made aware of the schedule as well as the fact that they will be voting by pre-poll.
FijiFirst leader Vorengen Bainimarama has rubbished rumours spread by their political opponents through social media that the current government has not achieved much in the last 4 years. Bainimarama made the statement while speaking at a campaign meeting in Korovo, Tailevu last night. Ali Kimbia with more.
With only 12 days to go for the 2018 general election, social media in Fiji is buzzing with many political discussions, and FijiFirst leader Vorengen Bainimarama is advising Fijians to be aware of lies being spread on social network platforms.
To all the youths that usually use the social media platform, please don't believe all the things in it, especially Facebook.
The FijiFirst leader says many politicians are using the social networking websites to derail the reputation of the FijiFirst government in order to secure more votes.
Prior to the elections, politicians will use social media to continuously lie to people. If people want to find out the truth about the finance of our country, the budget is available online.
He also slammed the Sodelpa and NFP's manifesto regarding what the two parties plan to introduce in the first 100 days if they form the next government.
I have seen Sodelpa's manifesto and what they will do in the first 100 days if they form government. It is a joke because there is a lot of confusion.
The FijiFirst leader is reminding Fijians that it's important to seek clarification if they are undecided about issues. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
President of the Social Democratic Liberal Party in Tuivakau, Ratanaingama Lalambalavu, issued a statement last night reiterating the party's support for their embattled leader Sitiveni Rambuka. In the statement, Ratanaingama urged Sodelpa members to remain united and to redouble their efforts for the party's ongoing campaign for the 2018 general election. The party president also offering a word of caution, calling on the Sodelpa members and supporters to refrain from making comments in the media, particularly on social media platforms, with the matter before court. Ratanaingama also stressing that it is a fundamental tenet of the party to respect, affirm and defend the rule of law, and that party respects the legal process and rights of appeal of all persons and law enforcement agencies. Unity Fiji Party leader Savanathan Narumbe says Fijians should cast their vote for who will best represent the interests of people when forming the next government. Speaking at the party's campaign meeting in Asinu last night, Narumbe said it is vital that people are well informed before casting their votes. Catherine Krishna reports.
Unity Fiji says Fijians need to make their decision on which party to vote for on the services a party can offer.
What I always want is for those in leadership to make wise decisions and meet whatever we need, so we need to choose those politicians who will fight for us.
The former Reserve Bank governor says that Unity Fiji has what it takes and there are candidates that will deliver for the best interests of all Fijians.
One important thing that we need not to forget is to have consultations with the public before implementing any policy that is of concern to them. Come down and have an openly discussion, and over the years there are hardly any discussions arranged with the public.
Party candidate Dildar Shah says support from people during party campaigns has been overwhelming.
We have been throughout Fiji, and I think we will get more seats than Sodelpa, NFP and Labour combined. You watch. We are reaching the public and the public is synchronizing with Mr. Narumbe.
Narumbe reminded those present at the campaign meeting that the decision of whom to vote for should be based on what the future holds for their children and Fiji. Catherine Krishna, FBC News.
Still to come, FRA cuts repairs during bad weather. And high heels in a hurry for charity. Details after the break.
Bula, nevang gomal kay leloma, ngongai nakas untuk makarong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Hoya ubasit sai sa Lambasa, ya untuk talita na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Gua do tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Wana tunga ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere naluan.
Nevang go fani na tao no go singa toka, kita untuk talita kana Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
FICAC's written submission on its appeal of the acquittal of Sodelpa leader Sitiveni Rambuka has been filed with the High Court Registry. FICAC was instructed on Tuesday by Chief Justice Anthony Gates to make their submission today at 12:30 p.m. Justice Gates had pointed out a strict timeline must be followed as any election case needs to be expedited. The defence will file its submission for Rambuka on Tuesday and there will be an oral hearing next Thursday. The court will have a verdict on the following Monday, 2 days before the election. Rambuka was acquitted of charges brought by FICAC of providing false declaration of assets, income and liabilities to the Supervisor of Elections, contrary to the Political Party Act 2013. A memorial service was held this morning to remember the 3 soldiers who died during the mutiny at Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Nambour in the year 2000. Hundreds of soldiers gathered to honour their fallen comrades at the Sukanaivalu Barracks in Lambasa. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports.
Remembering those that have fallen. On this day 18 years ago, the 3rd Battalion Fiji Infantry Regiment lost 3 of its soldiers during the mutiny attempt at the Queen Elizabeth Barracks in Nambour.
A number of the 3rd Battalion Infantry Regiment members became casualties and killed in the course of trying to repel attack and holding ground and fighting back the rebels.
Speaking at the church service this morning, RFMF Chief of Staff Brigadier General Rochane Kaloniwai urged soldiers to always remember their fallen comrades who laid down their lives for the restoration of law and order in the country on that fateful day.
Let us not forget what happened in 2000, because if we turn our backs to it, we will deviate from what we have sworn allegiance to, the safety and the security of our nation.
The soldiers who died that day are Corporal Simeon Rawe Lamba, who was shot at point blank while sleeping, Private Osea Rokosiri Nawosa, who was shot while working on his computer, and Private Temore Koro Belewai, who was killed when his team was on counter-attack. Eleanor Turangaiwiu, FBC News.
9 young women have been given the opportunity to attend the Model United Nations Conference in Washington, USA. This is also a historic trip since they are the first Fijian delegation to attend a Model UN conference. Felipe Naikaso has more.
The Model UN will be an opportunity for these young women to break traditional boundaries of leadership and voice their causes at a world meeting.
Natural disasters, climate change and mitigating its effects. It's something Fiji is very passionately pursuing, and so I'm grateful for the opportunity to have my say on the topic.
The conference will also help build confidence, instill leadership skills and strengthen diplomatic relations.
Undoubtedly provide our youth participants with knowledge and understand about the United Nations and global affairs.
This will be a life-changing trip for these participants.
For me personally, it's quite a very important one because it's a platform in which we could stand on and proudly contribute to the global issues that we're trying to tackle.
The women have been preparing for the past 7 months and will leave this Sunday for a 10-day conference. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
The Fiji Roads Authority will be suspending certain projects during bad weather. Chief Executive Jonathan Moore says this is to avoid wasting time, money and effort on projects underway. Pranita Prakash reports.
The Fiji Roads Authority says it's taking proactive steps to avoid repeating work on certain projects in progress during rainy days.
If we're doing a bridge crossing or we're doing just an Irish crossing, then if the weather gets bad and we're in the middle of building that crossing, then the damage to the crossing is massive. So we wasted the time in the first place doing the work, and we're just doing the work twice, and we're delaying the project, and it's just constant rework. So going forward on some of these Irish crossings, we won't be doing that. We'll actually be suspending the work for part of the rainy season.
The chief executive says steps have been taken to avoid wastage.
It's not a negative step. It's not a termination. It's a positive step to avoid wasted time and money in the future.
Meanwhile, the FRA is currently carrying out pre-sealing work, while the actual sealing of roads will be carried out when the weather improves. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
It's the race that could stop the nation. Today FM's Stiletto Relay Race for Cancer happens tomorrow, and preparations are well underway, with close to 15 teams now registered. Today FM Program Director Mario Fasala says they expect even more teams to come on board for the charity event. Registration is open until an hour before the race begins at 8 a.m. tomorrow in Suva's Albert Park. Maggie Boyle reports.
From the comfy everyday shoes to the well-heeled heels are most definitely on for tomorrow's Today FM's Relay Race for Cancer.
It's all about charity, it's all about having fun at the same time, you know, having time out as well from work and the busy schedule, and just have a good laugh as well. And we're all raising funds as well for the Fiji Cancer Society.
With more than a dozen teams participating in the event, one of the first to sign up was the National Fire Authority.
And for us, NFA, we are life supporters. Most of the time we are there for the needs of the public. But for this race, in any life supporting event, we are very grateful to take part.
And while the team list is growing, the course itself is no easy feat.
We've got teams from the likes of various companies in Fiji like Vodafone, we've got Quartz, we've also got Pacific Energy, and also the teams in radio as well right here in FBC. And it's going to be an interesting run as well, because it's going to be a relay, and it's going to be quite a difficult task going around Albert Park, especially on the footpath area. But we're pretty sure it's going to turn out just fine.
Today FM's Stiletto Relay Race for Cancer will have teams of 4, 2 males and 2 females. And while the event will be fun, it's also expected to be challenging. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Coming up in sports later with Jamie, Fiji Vanua 15s thrashed 60-0 by New Zealand's Heartland. But before that, here's Rachel with all the day's business updates.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up after the break. Fiji Pine forecast record profits. An in-growing Fiji Extra supermarket opens in Flagstaff Plaza. Stay with us.
Lola, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singapore. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Coral Coast, Singapore. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singapore.
Gold FM, only the classic.
In business tonight, the Fiji Pine Group of companies is forecasting a record-breaking $35 million in operating profits this year. Executive Chair Faith Khan says if the company adds the record $7 million paid to landowners for lease bonuses, this year's operational profit is forecast at a whopping $42 million. He says the Fiji Pine Group is debt-free of all intents and purposes. Khan says in 2010, their debt stood at $56.5 million, and loans to the European Investment Bank, Westpac, FDB and FNPF have all been paid off. He adds the interest-free government debt of $12 million borrowed from 1990 to 2001 has been reduced to $7.8 million, with $600,000 repaid every 6 months. Khan says the group is looking at developing a large office complex in Lautoka next year to allow further diversification of its investment portfolio. And we now join Sharon with the latest from the money world.
The sentiment in financial markets has been pretty negative for about 2 months, and we've mentioned the reasons many times. Brexit, the 2019 Italian budget deficit, and the international trade war have hurt market sentiment recently. But last night, we saw a reversal in sentiment as stock markets moved higher. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up 1%. The S&P 500 also gained just over 1%, while the tech stock revival left Nasdaq 1.7% higher. On the economic data front, the Bank of England said interest rate hikes will still be gradual, but indicated it would need to raise rates to 1.5% over the next 3 years to keep inflation under control. Meanwhile, Australia's retail sales for the month of September came in at 0.2%. This was below the 0.3% forecast. And that's it from HFC Bank for this week. Vinaka.
Thanks, Sharon. On to the exchange rates. As it was set this morning, the Fiji dollar was on the rise against the currencies we cover, except for two. It slipped against our major trading partners, Australia and New Zealand, but showed its strongest gains against the US dollar and the Japanese yen. As for the commodities market, oil continued to fall at $63 a barrel. Gold rose almost $15 to close at $1,231 per ounce, and silver closed at $14.65 an ounce. Anywhere in Fiji tonight represented an investment of $3.5 million and the creation of 100 jobs. The Extra supermarket opened in Suva today. The new outlet, situated at the Flagstaff Plaza, is the second branch for the company, with one already opened in Lautoka. Company Director Kavishe Abhimanu says they are proud to help the Fiji economy and have plans to further expand. He says with the large number of staff, they will also be able to operate extended hours. And that's a wrap from the business desk for this week. Jamie joins you now with sports.
Thank you, Rachel. Mbula in sports tonight. Semi Kunatani called into flying Fijians camp. And Yucatan rated on top ahead of Melbourne Cup. This and more coming up.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Pritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Former Fiji Sevens Olympic Games gold medalist Semi Kunatani has joined the Fiji Airways Flying Fijians team, preparing for the November tour test opener against Scotland next weekend. Kunatani replaces Nemani Nangusa, who has not been released by his club, the Newcastle Falcons in England. Kini Murimurivalu, who was in the original 30-member squad, has also pulled out due to a knee injury. Fiji plays its first test against Scotland on Sunday week. The Vodafone Vanua 15 side was thumped 60 points to nil by Heartland Rugby in their one-match tour to New Zealand. The Heartland side led 29-0 at the break. Meanwhile, Fijian Penny Nambainivalu scored 2 tries for the New Zealand-based side as they ran in 9 tries to seal the match. Irish horse Yucatan has been widely touted as favourite to win the 2018 Melbourne Cup. However, the stakes aren't set yet.
At the moment, it's a bit hard to say, because once the final field is declared, then only we can say which horse is the favourite horse. And then only we can tell the public is how many international horses are running, because there's a lot of international horses at the moment.
Manchester City's teenagers excelled as they eased into the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup with a 2-0 win over Fulham. When former Manchester United star Wayne Rooney started with America's Major League Soccer side, DC United, their season was all but over. But somehow they've gone from bottom of the league to a place in the playoffs. The move obviously paid off for the club, and as this report from TVNZ explains, it's done wonders for Rooney as well. That's it from sports tonight. Join Angie later on with weather, and in the world of the weird and the wonderful, A woman discovers that her neighbor is her long-lost sister. Details after the break.
Narang golesenya, awama kita benakas, dorong-rong benakape, on radio Fijian, nandong ibit.
Ayaw benyana, kita barong on radio Fijian, nandong ibisi, ihi ngatoka.
Gue ado ilaisa ngatoka, rong-rong benana heramakawa ina radio Fijian ngatoka.
Radio Fijian, nandong ibiti.
Tonight's new media reviews the OnePlus 6T with an in-screen fingerprint reader that looks to the future. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello to you and to the weekend. There is so much excitement building up, especially with the festive season being around. But in case you're thinking about the showers, then let me tell you, it's not around for long. Today's conditions might have been dull and gloomy due to the showers in some places, but I'm here with some fabulous news which I'm going to share in a while. But first, taking a look in the west, quite mild, the sun was glowing, which was perfect for an outdoor day. Eastwards from Pekhawa to Suva, huge difference here. It was slightly windy with intervals of rain, more in store for tonight. And up north, quite humid with sunshine being the winner for the day. You went sailing, well, definitely the weather for it. At sea, easterly winds 15 to 20 knots, moderate to rough seas. For the tides, high tide at 8:17 p.m. and low tide at 2:30 a.m. Sunrise at 5:26. For tomorrow, the fabulous news, like I said, is that the weather will be pretty much clear. There you have it, your shopping day is clear. Tomorrow's temps, all centers will be hitting the lower 30-degree range. And looking further on to Sunday, it's clear and dry for now, so happy weekend. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we asked, what do you think of the Flying Fijians winning all their 3 Northern Hemisphere tour against Scotland, Uruguay and France?
Yes, of course, they can win the game. Everything is possible on the ground.
I believe there is no doubt the Flying Fijians will win all their 3 matches.
Of course, yes. They can win all 3 games during the Northern Tour.
I think they'll win the games because they got the experience and they got the physical fitness, especially some of the members are from the Rua.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, NFP promises housing, increased welfare and low cost of living. FijiFirst leader warns against social media lies. And stop rubbishing Rumbuka, says Sodelpa president. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment, this week we're asking, should more focus be put on local players following the Fijian Drewers NRC win? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day was sent in by Sarah Maimbera from Nasese Suva, a picture of Elanesia gratefully admiring the beautiful sunset. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page, FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe, have an enjoyable weekend. Bye for now.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ से जैसे प्रेनी नोट मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फिजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है। रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फिजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे रेडियो फिजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।